No.
You're gonna bring Briley out and introduce her? Did everybody meet her? Look at that, yeah. I don't think, did you meet her, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah, Cal met her.
Okay, so we'll
Mark
begin the
has.
work session now
Mark has.
at 3.
You were in. Did you meet her?
Apparently we're gonna trot Bradley out for everyone to meet.
We can do that. Come on out, Riley.
Well, I have some questions about what I thought from the future.
So this is Briley Kamiri. Kamiri. So I can know. The new administrative assistant. Doing awesome. So I think you've met everybody. Donna, Cal, Aaron, Mark. He was in this morning, and of course Chucky. I'm just waiting for to see what Chucky's gonna call you, because he'll come up with a nickname for everybody. So I can't wait to see what he calls her.
Get you, first rule of thumb is not to ask, but Chuck.
No, that's not a rule.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So if you want to join us, or go ahead back there, that's fine. It's kind of an informal work session.
Yep, so is there packets there for the work session?
Yep.
If you want to grab a packet, there's one right there too.
In that.
So I guess, Terry printed out the Sun Grant MOU. I just kind of wrote it in at the end. We'll just look at it. I don't expect this to take very long, but we'll see. Let's see. So Public Works contract, Public Works employee. Jerry sent out a sample contract for, I think for Chuck.
Yeah. So this will be for his
Jerry who?
side.
Mr. Jerry.
Is he on the board?
No, but
He's been.
he's just helping us out and giving us an idea of what it could be.
I see.
Outside.
So I have this question. Let's see. So this here says minimum of $1,000. So that is what his paycheck will be?
So minimum.
Huh?
Says
Minimum.
minimum.
Yeah, but what will his paycheck?
I think it depends on what happens.
But then you got the equipment rates at the back, so.
So it's between, yeah, it looks like it pencils out between 1,000 and 2,000 a month based on hours, but it's still structured similar to the old one, and that, but exhibit A, right, is separate. Incidentals, basically.
Yeah, so then it's the minimum plus any equipment rates plus mileage outside of town plus some other things. Yeah, and parts and materials.
Yeah, it's really for that anyone. I mean, his contract would be probably beyond that.
Yeah, well, this one doesn't look like it has a material.
The rates on this exhibit A are more than what the current contract.
Yeah,
Then what?
They're more than what the current contract. Like if you look at the backhoe, currently it's $90 an hour, and here they put it at 145. So,
I didn't hear that.
like
hit
the
the back page.
backhoe is, yeah, so the rates on the new contract that Jerry proposed are higher than what's in your current contract. Or at least that is.
Well,
It looks like there's some other equipment too that,
So. Do you have a hand up, Mark?
Stretching.
You got to stretch like this, so it won't.
Oh, no distractions.
That's good. Alright, so. Um,
There's definitely less responsibility in this contract.
yeah, and in the email that, Jerry sent, this contract assumes that, ATAC will do the water and sewer operations. And then, that's what he was basing this one off of.
So, so what happens with the public works employee if we get one? Who pays him?
The town,
Well, it hasn't really been said, you know, how one's gonna pay
if
it.
it's a public works employee, then it has to be the town, and that,
It's kind of, implied in the name of it.
yeah.
the fan thing is.
Uh, After
Then
that,
I think-
apparently.
Invite, but I don't.
It's the equipment hourly rates in the package.
One thing I kind of see is, may seem subtle, but really not subtle. Contractor may be required to assist ATAC in the utility locating when requested by ATAC. I don't think, this is definitely, I wish Scott was here question, but I don't think, specifically identifying another contractor within a contract is something we'd want to do, so maybe the contractor will be required to assist other
Engineer.
identified.
Just put this down. That's it.
Assists with utility locating as requested by appointed or contracted town personnel,
Right.
kind of thing, basically like, yeah.
Just more
Yeah,
generic.
more generic, like, yeah, I think, even overly particular on that one. Get weird.
Yeah.
So backhoe, 55, skid steer.
You say Styles wrote this up?
Yeah, they sent it out today.
Now, here's, yeah, I think one thing that he had talked to me a bit about this one day, because he brought up the concerns, about bidding versus quoting versus, right, so anything over 50,000, we have to bid. But there was, if it's over 20, from 25,000 to 50,000, we don't have to bid, but we have to seek other quotes. Where this coming in at 24,000, it seems like what this does is
Stays below that.
stays below that $25,000 and makes up for it.
Did you request him to do this?
You don't have to request anything, Gary. He'll help out in any way he thinks he can. I hope that we listen to him. Where he helps. It's a good start. I mean,
Yeah. Do you have any comments on that, Chuck? You wanna mark it up and let's look at that, or?
none of us have seen this really before, so this is very fresh. Definitely.
Yeah, I just, apparently, Terry got the email too, but I just got it this afternoon, like an hour ago.
Yeah, I gotta do the same thing.
So he's probably on the same email.
Clearing sidewalks and entryways at hourly rate 70, locate assists 70, trimming 80, weed screening 90, mowing with town mowers 75, turn on curbs. This is a really good offer, Chuck. If
That's why not.
this is a really good offer. But now let's go back though, because time and materials.
So I think the other point is it's not to exceed 24. But if we are on the way to exceed it, then we'd have to start getting to quote out the work to continue, right? It wouldn't fall under this
Bless you.
anymore. Then we would have to be quoting it.
I don't even know if you're right to get.
Number of hours spent on each of the line items tab.
Nine?
No, you want to sit right here? Or up there, it doesn't matter.
It's fine, right there. So it looks like you're
Broken, it was really good. I called Daddy's the one guy.
Should have worn my sunglasses today.
Yeah. I was full-time out of here and even back before Christmas. There's been no contact on that.
I called him this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, this is essentially like just the current one without the operations in it, but then increasing the equipment rate and introducing mileage and parts and materials, I think.
I think, yeah, this is definitely something we don't want to get too more into. It's Scott.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But just think, like, I understand the goal of the 24,000, but I'm not entirely sure if that's pencils out right. I think the must pay are 12,000. Like, yeah. Having a range like that, I don't know how that works with the bidding and thing.
Well, that $1,000, that's what it goes me, because you divide that out into how many hours he works.
So that, you can't think about that, like, you can't think about this contract. So that's a time and materials. So, all right, so you look at the $1,000 a month minimum.
It's like a retainer, basically.
It's like a retainer. So let's say he does 10 hours on his backhoe in a month. He's already blown way past that. And that's where this kind of gets concerning for me, is 24,000 as a cap. That's gonna be burnt fast with anything significant happening. Mowing with town mower, what's that?
How are you, Anthony?
Oh,
Can you hear me? Can you hear us? Yep. Using my laptop, so.
I mean, that's
There we go.
13 hours of mowing a month burns through that first $1,000.
I don't know if anything to do is gonna burn through.
Yeah,
No.
so I think that's where things get really weird quick. It's 24,000 maximum, not to exceed. I don't know.
And then what did you say when we took the contract stuff away from
The above and beyond was like 24,000. What we paid this year.
have other work done above and beyond the contract,
It was
24,
like 61 total,
yeah.
and of that.
But
30
that doesn't pertain to the contract.
Right, that was above the 3120 that you got paid
Per month.
per month,
Yeah.
yeah.
Clearing sidewalks on the snow removal, amount of snow during. So like, for example, right, a fair amount of snow removal is done with a Bobcat. 10 hours of snow removal in a month, there it is right there.
Well, in the original situation, we talked about sidewalks, and of course, just to clear the air, they were talking about adjoining landowners cleaning their own. I said, you can't do that. You know how many goddamn people you would have to depend on? So I took the time. I said, I can plow, but we're looking at 14, 16 blocks of sidewalk. I could start at the store and go to the other end in half hour's time. So, you know, you're looking at roughly, unless we have a blizzard, you start drifting and have to do it 2 or 3 times. First initial plowing, I said, you know, we're gonna end up doing the sidewalks for like $45. I said, you can't mess with all these goddamn people over $45. Not to mention liability, and then if you happen to have a do-gooder that comes along and saving the day, what about their liability insurance about being on and contractor's license and all the stuff that you have to, hoops you gotta jump through? I mean, I'm not opposed to the contract. I mean, as long, it stated in the original contract that there was room for an increase in pay. And that conversation that I've had with Aaron along the way, that do the contract for a year with, um, so what are we taking out of this contract? Anything?
So it looks like, so, and in the email too, the email assumed that ADAC would be doing water and sewer operations. And then this is all the maintenance, the snow removal, groundskeeping, streetlights, curb stops, locates. And, looks like that's about it. In there, he has mileage outside of town, parts and materials from your bench stock, which
Yeah,
I don't know if that matters, but,
usually like meter parts and things like that. I get those at DFE or sometimes in Northwest Pipe. Charge it to the town's account, so they're not paying tax and, but there is. And then, of course, we gotta take the water sample in once a month. But my thinking was that that's kind of part of the deal. We go to town once a month, once a day.
Yeah.
Above and beyond.
And this doesn't include anything beside, the only utilities related task is the turning off curb stops. Right, and utility locating, there's no meters and none of the meter stuff is in here.
Herring or,
None of it, yeah, no, it's just the only sewer water utility related items that I see is turning off curb stops and utility locating.
So who's gonna do the metering?
Looks like this is set up for all that to be contracted out separately
or bid out.
or bid out,
I mean,
which
if
is
we,
what it would have to be.
well, if we bid it out and Chuck wins the bid, then
That's separate.
it would be separate from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but this basically just covers all the, I guess, what,
doing anyway, huh? They're gonna do it anyway, yeah.
yeah, right.
Well, it's like Anthony said, you know, it's, certain things that they don't do, you know, snow removal, mowing and that type of thing. And streets, we've got a price list in there on the blade, big blade, cat 12. It's not here. I have one. And, so
You're fine.
we do a little TLC and I can bring it down for everybody and what about that thing. My thinking is, not mentioned in here about streets, but my thinking is that we have the material and you have the equipment at your disposal, so why not do a work order and say, we need to build a pothole on the street, type of material. So
Yeah.
what other maintenance would there be other than repairs? And if it goes into something like, we're gonna rip the whole, west side of Fifth Street from the school clear to Whitney and put a base under there and bring it back. That could be a time and material thing, or if it's gonna get wild, it could have more than one bid.
Yeah, that's right. And I think the idea is for this one to be under your umbrella automatically. And then any of that other stuff be bid out with the understanding that Ferguson Construction can also bid on that. And since
Well,
it's
it's-
under a different, it would be under a different relationship with the town. I don't think that would count against the
I wouldn't
25
think
or
so.
50,000, do you
It
guys?
says that I have.
Yeah, no, this would be completely separate, and anything additional, especially if it was bid out, would be completely separate. So what this does is it compartmentalizes the facilities.
Right.
The stuff that,
So if you have a major water break, says that I have right of refusal, I want to fix it for nothing. It said that in the old contract, but we all know what it costs to bring somebody else in. So,
I think, more I think about it, the more I'm thinking that's something that was taken into consideration while this was written. So what this does, is it compartmentalizes everything that if we contract it out, we know we're basically gonna get screwed.
it's gonna be a much higher rate than what I charge.
Yeah, like massively. But that doesn't stop you from bidding on the other stuff when that bid is over. Yeah. Makes sense.
Well, then you have to have a scope of the work to be done, so that everybody's on the same page. And, no, we're gonna tear this out, needs to be clarified on the work.
But I don't know how that range. Bidding versus quoting.
So the $1,000 a month is just a base pay. I mean, obviously, anything that happens is gonna exceed that amount. So,
Not exactly. So it's like, you get paid no matter what, and as you eat up hours, you work away at that initial 1,000, and then you can rise above it up to 2,000. So you get paid.
Do you think that's what it is?
Yeah. So you get paid $1,000, and as you're working, you consume through that 1,000, and then you can go exceed that up to 2,000. So it's like a $1,000 retainer, essentially. It's not all that dissimilar from how we used to. Yeah, once you consume that, then you can go above and beyond up to 2,000. But that's,
Well, and that's an average of 2,000 a month. So if we have some months that are lighter and some months that are heavier, it has to
so
have a
then
jump.
you're saying I'm gonna have a different contract with
I'm just-
Anthony on the stuff that he wants done?
I'm just saying that with this, that's what, this is not to exceed 24,000 a year is what this means.
I think where maybe we need to clarify, everything that's was in Chuck's contract that isn't in this is going to be bid. It's not,
Operations. Well, I guess operations could be.
it has to be bid. We had an operations contract given to us that was over $60,000 quoted. We have to bid that out. We can't just,
Well, the
Not-
the updated one was below 50,
and that's
but
that,
that's still above the 25,
well, that still draws
even though it's.
concerns.
Well, so at 3,120 per month. It figures out roughly $100 a day. And then if it's got 28 or 31 days, but that's down and dirty when you divide that by 30 days, it's $100 a day.
But how many hours are you working a day?
Huh?
You're considering you're working 8 full hours a day. Are you really working 8 hours a day for the town?
8 hours a day.
Well, you said $100 a day, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, that's what it averages out, but that's 24-hour call and,
right, but do you actually work all those? I mean, I know you're on call, I get that.
yeah.
But
My apologies.
Where in the hell have you been? Ready to close up shop, you just go in the hole.
Yeah, okay. Ready?
So Mark, you had your hand up, did you have, something that we didn't cover already, or?
I'm not sure the way it's written out, this contract would even work at all. So, not this year, obviously, say next year,
Put at the end, just for something.
December drops 10 feet of snow. He's gonna eat up that entire contract amount in a matter of no.
Blizzard is devastating. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 days to clean up the bottom. If the wind's blowing, unless there's great wall, sometimes you gotta be.
And
I've seen snow 6 foot deep right there on the sidewalk.
I think what we probably what I would want to see is a clarification of Scott as to how those two ranges correlate with bidding versus quoting. I feel like the base of 12,000 is what is the number we're looking at. I think the not to exceed just puts us in trouble, and I'm not necessarily
But
certain
when you
that's
look
even
at
What's
the
that?
when you look at the 31 times 12, that's 36,000 by itself per year.
I don't see where there's,
So the point is that any contract over 25,000 a year needs to get bid out.
or quoted. I think it's
Or quoted.
we need to get
Anything
quotes.
over 50,000 a year, we have to get multiple bids.
Sealed bidding over 50,000 quotes, not necessarily sealed,
It
but
used to be
quotes.
30 wasn't it, or something. Do you remember that?
25 and it's 50, you know?
Well, the way I'm looking at this is that $12,000 range, right? The must pay 12,000 and up to 24. That seems like incidental to me, which I don't think needs to be included when considering quotes and or bids. Because if you really look at this contract, what it is a $12,000 a year contract. It has the potential to go up to 24,000, but that's incidental, and you can't predict incidentals. So you can't really quote or bid incidentally, right?
So is there going to be tasks that Anthony is going to be performing that is in the contract now?
We don't have a contract with ATEC right now.
That's a good point. What is he gonna be capable of doing if it's the contract?
What do you mean? Everything other than what's in this, if we were to go forward with this, my understanding is that everything that's not in here would be bid. Broken up and bid. And that's another thing, is we talk about, oh, well, you don't have to bid if it's under 50,000. All right, so let's really try really hard to never have to bid. Bidding is really beneficial. You get the best deal. Why would we ever want to avoid bidding?
the time it takes.
Yeah,
Sometimes you don't have the time that it's required.
well,
That's the big thing.
right. And as far as like an operations contract, who's going to run our town for the next 15 years, I think we've got to, it's worth investing some time.
Honestly, it would be the next 8 months, but I mean, that's the one that we're looking at, right? We were looking at it.
Yeah.
We've had major water leaks that we waited days, and sometimes a week to get an outside contractor to come and do it, because most of them are busy, you know, I mean, we were lucky enough to get Becca a couple times just because of the personal relationship that I've had with him over the years. He's running a couple of crews, different crews. And sometimes it boils down to it's more of a job than what two people can do, you know. You got an operator and a ditch man and somebody else is gopher and
I hear my own name go.
So is your concern with the 24,000 that it maybe because it's conspicuously below the 25?
No, I think it puts a ceiling on. It seems, essentially from what I interpreted, is it puts a ceiling on how much work can be done under this contract period, like a hard, it will not exceed 24,000 a year. And I don't think that's necessary, or I don't think it's necessarily safe for us to put a hard cap on that when we
well, and
quickly
the other
determined
thing
all these different ways that we
other
could
thing
blow past that
comes into
limit.
play is if you have a town employee or a helper, so to speak. How many hours, I mean, when you look at that, put in a full day's time, you're gonna be making $160 a day. 8 hours is $20 an hour, I mean, it's $160 a day. How many days they're gonna be needed is another story.
Plenty.
And then has happened before that if there's a leak or something that requires it,
Did you
I'm
get
there
this?
anyway. They have
This is
to
one
see
there.
what's going on
And it's-
Just recently?
Yeah.
in order to make the repairs, you know.
Okay, I'm sorry I was late. I really am. Fill me in on what I missed here. I'm behind and I'm making you all go through it again. I'm sorry.
Apparently it's.
Did you get, sorry,
Gary.
This is what I have had already. This is what I was just given that,
That's mostly what we're on. Basically, we managed to determine that it removes everything related to sewer and water except for turning off curb stops and utility locating. And it raises the equipment rates, just basically generally all the rates by a very significant amount. So like mowing with a town mower, hourly rate 75. I think his current contract is 42 an hour for labor, for base minimum labor. So the itemized exhibit rates is much higher, but the base contract value is lower. I think that's pretty much.
but how do we know if we're paying him a base contract of, what does it say here, $1,000 a month?
Yeah, I feel like this is something I need to draw out. So like,
So $1,000 a month plus reimbursements. Okay, so he gets $1,000 a month plus then $75 an hour for mowing?
no, so here's how I'm interpreting it, and I think this is kind of what Jerry's intentions were. So it's like, this is that first $1,000. As he does work, right, like, so let's say he does some mowing and then does some excavator work, it eats up that first $1,000. He gets automatically $1,000. He would get automatically $1,000 a month, and as he works, he eats that up, and then continues going up to a maximum of 2,000. So this is basically a retainer, $1,000 retainer, and gets similar to how the
Okay,
lawyers work.
so then he gets up to $2,000 and we,
Hey, hold on, it's 24,000 a year.
Oh, 24,000
So
a
it's an
year,
average
right,
of
yeah,
2,000.
average, right, yeah.
So it's not a hard limit of 2,000 a month. It would be, I mean, there's hard limits once you get to the end of the year under this. It's an average of 2,000 a month, just so we're clear.
Yeah. I think that's the easiest way to look at it, right? It's $1,000 retainer essentially that gets consumed the same
so
way.
we're gonna pay $2,000 a month to Chuck for basically doing nothing with sewer and water.
No, you're not hearing what.
I'm not, obviously.
Just read the bold here. This is what we're talking about, this bold on this one here, the second page. So minimum must pay is 12,000 a month.
A year,
Yeah, sorry.
That's pretty hefty raise.
months and years.
I know, 12,000 a year and not to exceed 24,000 a year. So it's like $1,000 retainer And it's kind of to count towards labor and machine time for that month. And then, anything over that $1,000, gets paid the same as well. But then it's not to exceed 24,000 a year because of the bidding requirements. So this would allow the town to basically, I guess, accept this contract without bidding. I think that's what the goal was when he made this. So just so- if you weren't aware, Jerry made this up and sent it to us this afternoon.
Okay. I don't care who did it, I just wanna know.
So like as an example, right, like mowing, the first $1,000, 13 hours mowing would eat through that retainer, and then he could continue mowing for another.
Well, but then I'm not getting it. Because to me, this is a cut. He's not making nothing, because if he does enough mowing to take care of $1,000.
So this is what's known as essentially a time and materials contract. No, all the time must be accounted for, all the hours work have to be accounted for. So you can't look at it in the same light as the other contractor where it has, really, you can almost look at this contract that he's on now as having like a $3,000 a month retainer.
So that means that anytime you come into the office to go mowing and you wanna bullshit about all the dumb fuckery going on around in town, you can't get paid for that. We don't have the money for that.
All right, Mark.
Just saying. Well, I don't understand it totally neither. I mean, I don't.
This contract wouldn't work for the town at all. If he hits it's got a requirement of lawn care and snow removal. So that's a contractual specific that he's guaranteed. He's allowed so many hours, minimum and a maximum. Okay, it's August and he hits his maximum payout. He's already guaranteed for snow removal, but yeah, we can't pay him anymore without bidding it. The way this is written, it would never.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm
You
saying.
couldn't do it
Yeah.
for the town.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why do we need the maximum? Is that something that we need to have in there, or does the minimum cover our bidding requirements?
It doesn't make sense because the $1,000, he's going to work that away. And then what is he going to make for it? Because he's not guaranteed any extra after above and beyond that $1,000.
That's base pay that's in there.
No, it's not base pay.
Well, I'm talking about the one right now, the contract I have now, which is still in force,
Right.
okay? So there's provisions in this last contract for a pay increase. States so in that contract that it is negotiable for a pay increase. We all know that a certified operator is 60 grand a year. The town absolutely can't afford that. So consequently, under this last contract, most all of this stuff is covered. The increase in the equipment, if you get a year, you get 20 inches of rainfall, I mean, you're mowing every 3 days. So in that scenario, that, you're damn well getting your money's worth. Not to mention the fuel and maintenance and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of, it had the best of both worlds for 50 years. They're using my equipment, my radio, my phone, my insurance. All they had to do was sign a check once a month. Anything that was done above and beyond this contract, then not to exceed a certain amount, then was paid by time and materials. About as simple as it could be and fair to both parties.
You mean this $1,000?
No, the contract we're on right now.
About the one that is still in effect as of today. It will expire on the 23rd of January.
All right, so So I think we're somewhere in between what we want to do and what we can do. So are we saying that we're not going to, the bid versus the quotes, where are we at with that? Are we saying that we aren't going to accept a contract over $20,000 without getting other quotes? Is that something we've kind of established a consensus
Say that
on?
again, Mo, sorry.
Isn't that state statute that we're?
It is, right? Is
So,
Jerry pointed out, so there's the $50,000 for bid, but apparently there's a $25,000 to $50,000 range that needs quotes, not sealed bids per se, but quotes.
Mark it in Dan.
Just the $50,000 you have to publish, put out for bid. If you're doing something smaller, you can just, I could quote it, Dan could quote it, Chuck could quote
Right.
it.
I think he's getting jabbed in the butt with a sharp stick. He's not gonna make it. I mean, I don't understand because now he automatically gets the $3,100 check
To do it all.
to do it all. Okay, so if we're gonna take this contract, to me, he is not guaranteed nothing above and beyond $1,000 unless we have buku bucks of snow, you know.
Or mowing every 3 days.
Yeah, it doesn't make
I
sense
don't
to
think it
me.
fits very good. The contract we have now benefits both parties.
You know, because
So
you
are we
buy,
just gonna renew it?
No, we can't renew it. We can't afford to pay you that wage for doing, if you're not doing all the work. If part of the work is being done by ATAC,
But they need to spell out exactly what they're going to do.
I won't argue that point,
Or a public employee.
or a public employee for that matter, yes.
so
and-
then Chuck gets thrown off to the side and doesn't make any money? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying what we need to do is we need to decide what the heck he is gonna do and then come up with a fair wage for it. As far as a fair wage goes, do I believe that he will make the same amount of money he's making now? No, I don't believe he will. But at the same time, he won't be doing the same amount of work either. And he can't. He doesn't have an employee that's gonna get down in the ditches for him. I mean, everything's different now. But I can't honestly say, I don't wanna screw Chuck. If he's doing the work, I want him to get a fair wage for it. But if he's not doing all the work that the contract that we're using right at this moment, you know, if he's not doing all that work, we can't pay him all that much.
Understand that very thoroughly.
All that much.
Contract is in place with a moderate increase. I don't see how either one of us can lose on that.
Moderate increase is gonna require us to go out and get quotes and or bid.
The current contract will be at the minimum of a bid.
Or a quote. Yeah,
Quote,
yeah.
but we've gone over the last 2 years over the 50,000 quite a bit. So, Dan, you have a point?
Yeah, I'm totally confused because number one, we got Styles that's writing up a contract for you guys to review and do. And then number two, last meeting, we talked about snow was gonna be bid, mowing was gonna be bid, streets was gonna be bid. That the engineer was doing the treatment plant, was doing the lagoon, was doing the wells, was doing the water. We were gonna set up a contract that he was going to operate and function off of. And then that got postponed, and now we're back into a situation where we're not even knowing where the engineer's gonna come from, and we're trying to consider putting this, and that's basically putting the horse in front of the horse.
Well, right now, we're basically just looking at options to see how we can kind of configure things to where it makes sense. I mean, the thing with the operations contract is it didn't pass a board vote, so.
And this, I don't see how until you get something with the engineer, that Chuck isn't gonna be doing a quarter of it. If the engineer is going to be doing all of the lagoon and wells and the treatment and the WR2T and the boosters when it gets all put together. So basically, as what I've said before, you pay him as a contractor and he gets paid for each piecemeal that he does. If he spends an hour every day going up and checking towers, he gets paid for an hour. If he spends 3 hours mowing, unless you're gonna bid it out. If you get a contractor coming in here to do the mowing, he may do it cheaper than what he does by the year, and then you're paying money out that you shouldn't. Snow removal likewise, if you get a contractor that comes in on snow removal, he may be able to do it cheaper than what you're gonna pay on a monthly fee. And likewise, if you're gonna do streets, where you're gonna be at on a level there. So to me, you need that engineer's report to know where you're gonna be on the description of, number one, your roads. Number two, you put in, and I assume he's putting that together because he was requested to put it together for bids for snow removal and mowing and streets. That he was gonna get together and go through them circumstances and then present that to the board. I don't see how you can even work on this until you see them first. Then number two, then you see what his contract's gonna be versus what Ferguson's gonna do yet. You don't know if Anthony is gonna transition into it. None of this makes absolutely any sense at all and is a waste, to me, of time and waste of money with circumstances and where it's going, if you're going to have them other incidences all put into place.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like a time and materials contract to do those things that you mentioned, at least the mowing and the snow removal.
But if you
water
don't
meter,
get a
things
bid,
like that.
It looks
Yeah.
to me
I
like
mean, well, I think what we're doing is we're just looking at different options, and then once we get all the kind of the data collected and understood, then we'll be able to hopefully look at it as a total picture and see if we can kind of put the puzzle together to make everything work out. So,
Okay, so the contract,
Well, I guess my biggest thing is, why is Jerry Stiles doing this?
Can I answer that?
Yeah.
As best as I can? Because no matter what, even though he quit the board, he still wants to be, he
realize
wants to
that.
be here.
But
He
did you
wants,
know about this?
I
knew
know,
nothing
hell
about
no, I did not know about it. But then I wouldn't care if 20 townspeople came in and said, hey, I think this is a pretty decent contract. Can you read it and look
I
at it?
kind of wish more people would.
I don't care if they do. I don't care who does it.
I think
Who,
it's
what,
a lack of communication.
whatever is anybody is willing to give to this town, time thinking of contracts and whatnot, I just don't have a problem with it. I don't care who did it. I mean,
yeah.
but did I know about it? No. But you're not gonna stop Jerry from putting his best foot forward because he still wants his input put into this town. So,
Well, I mean, he is a citizen, so
Yes.
he has the right to put in this.
Well, I guess
As
I didn't,
anybody else,
should have
so.
been mentioned.
Well, it
Was when
literally
we got
just
here.
showed up an hour ago, an hour before the meeting, so, but,
Not that I was going to do any different, but it's kind of nice to know, what the hell's going on.
right, so, let's go Mark and then Aaron, I think wanted to move on.
Yeah, I mean, just a little bit of clarification. I mean, it was said that we need to just basically set up Chuck to work as he does and get paid as he does, job by job. That's basically what this is
Right.
with a retainer. That is exactly what this is, but with a retainer so that he keeps his equipment here and doesn't, go to Tahiti. That's what it
Getting
is.
closer
It's
to it
basically
all
a
the time.
retainer for that exact setup to where he gets paid job by job, time by time, item by item, but has a retainer. So kind of a non-starter, but yeah.
Okay, Mark?
This is a decision that the town should make. I mean, Anthony shouldn't be dictating the contract, Chuck shouldn't be dictating the contract. You guys representing the citizens should decide. We think this, and this, and this should be done, this, and this should be done. Here's the contract we'll allow, this is what we're gonna bid. Take it or leave it, to everybody. That's just the way it probably should be.
Okay, Dan?
And if you got directives already going to your engineer, we need to see the results of where he's coming out on your directives. You hit it right on the nail head. We're fact finding right now. we need to see what all of these pieces put together are gonna present to us. Because if we're gonna pay him $125,000 a year to do what's being done in this town, or whatever circumstances, at one point, we were in a maintenance contract that was gonna look at all of that when we were within it. And the numbers were out there. Now he's in a private entity and he's a whole different situation. The involvement in them numbers need to be is how much project costs are gonna be involved in the new well tower, where we're at with the booster, WRT, everything coming right down the line, and the main infrastructure, what the daily needs are gonna be taken care of, and how much physically can Chuck handle, or do on his own, because circumstances there are presented differently, so contractually, by bidding that stuff out, takes that element away from him and allows him to do what he can do. That's where the piecemeal makes sense and the per job contract payment makes sense.
Okay. Chuck?
It's gonna have to be itemized to the letter, because the contract that we have in place right now covers everything. I believe that if Anthony wants to get involved, he's got to stipulate exactly what he's going to do and what he's not going to do, because there will be a gray area of whether it's him or me that's gonna go do this. And, the contract that's in place now is not a bad one. And that's like I told Aaron, any one of us can have a heart attack tomorrow and not even be in the picture. So, you know, I've had physical after physical after physical, and doesn't seem to be a problem in my area. But originally, when we talked about it, Anthony's input was going to be assisting. And it went from assisting my job to pretty much takeover. And I'm sorry, but 50 years of dedication to the town in one way, shape, or another, and being grossly underpaid for the position that has been held as long as I held still for it, it's a hell of a deal for the town. And has been. And $100,000 wouldn't cover the difference in what's went on in 50 years. And as far as employees, you know, in 50 years, I've had a few of them along the way. Doesn't mean I can't find another one. You know, I've had good ones and I've had bad ones and I've had thieves and I've had everything you can think of. I'm very capable of finding another helper if that's a problem.
Is your hand up or are you?
Yeah.
I just thought you just swatting flies.
So this is like the seventh meeting we spent talking about this contract, and it kind of seems like, for the most part, we end up back where we started. So can we move on to public works employee and not talk about the contracts anymore
Yeah.
until we
No, I was gonna,
discussion where we only talk about public works employee and not
yeah,
the past or the contracts that are dead in the water?
well, so and that's kind of what do you call it? That's another starting point, kind of another almost catch 22 as well. I mean, it's another avenue to look at, right? I mean, we should consider all of our options when we're figuring out and deciding how are we going to do this. You know, the thing is by getting the RFPs, we'll kind of have an idea of what the going rates are out there. So then if we do want to dictate rates like what Mark is saying, then we'll have an idea of what the market is out there and we can, you know, adjust our expectations or things like that. So anyway, so yeah, but public works employee, did you want to introduce that?
I feel like I can bring up that spreadsheet if you want, so we can
Sure.
have that list. And then other than that, I feel like if we talk anymore about the contract without actually accomplishing anything,
Well,
lose our minds.
I don't think that we didn't accomplish anything. I think that We looked at another
Decided it
avenue.
ain't gonna work.
Well, it's as is probably not, but you know, it's another avenue that,
It is.
that we all can consider and, you know, see, you know, just, we gotta figure out where we can fit all the pieces
It
together.
needs to be itemized on exactly what's gonna be done for exactly how much. And then you've got it.
Well, that's a bidding process.
Yes.
Right.
Sort of.
Yeah, I mean, so going and doing it that way would be, we're bidding out either every job, or we can collect all the jobs for a year and bid that out, or, you know. But anyways, so we got this guy here.
I can't see it. Can you turn it just a little bit?
Turn there, hit that light switch behind you, honey, and then you'll be able to see it better. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay.
Need my Bible.
So we're really gonna take the meter reading away from it because we have a meter reader, right? Meter reader, right?
Yep, so far as I know, she's happy with her job.
Just put an X with the town there.
Yeah, yeah, we can do that. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, hey, we fixed something on there.
Look at
We
that.
finished it.
Yeah.
One down, 47 to go.
Sweet.
Mowing. I mean, it doesn't seem in any way reasonable to think we'll ever get a better deal on mowing and weed control than we would from a town employee.
I agree.
It just doesn't make sense in any universe, right?
In
That we
any
save
universe.
save money by having that contracted out. It's almost ludicrous to even consider, right?
Exactly.
We have to have a town employee
I believe so.
mowing our
Well, I mean, right here, it shows it, doesn't it? I mean,
75 an hour.
$75 an hour.
We have our own mower, we pay somebody 24 an hour. We
Right,
save 50 bucks
exactly.
an hour,
Exactly.
right? And
What's whose machine?
it doesn't matter, what town owns a mower.
Guess these are as good as they're gonna get, huh? Is that even better?
Yeah, that was laser beaming me. That one blind was stuck on a Christmas decoration or a Christmas light, and it was like. Any others that you can see that we just,
Oh,
like town employee?
I mean, if you're gonna do mowing, then snow removal kind of goes along with mowing.
I agree.
Like the-
Snow removal light, right, sidewalks.
for all the sidewalks, for the office, for,
And I don't know if we need to include plowing in that too.
not if we don't have the equipment.
Right.
And we don't.
So then this is just where we have the equipment, then they.
Yes.
keep doing that.
When the equipment's even necessary, right? Snow fence installation removal, absolutely something that our employee could do.
Yep,
Flag duty.
flag duty, yep,
Yeah. Building maintenance.
absolutely,
Yep. Tending yard waste dumpsters,
yep.
back, emergency water shut off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Not yet.
yeah.
Back truck labor, I mean, there's nothing.
Very possibly, yes. Back truck operator, that would be
CDL.
something that if he was willing, or he, she, they were willing to get a CDL and they were willing to learn it. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Here's one that's
But-
big for me is if we had an employee, we would never have to worry about whether or not work orders were being
Yeah,
documented properly into
absolutely.
Silversmith or not. It would be 100% covered.
Right, exactly.
So that's just,
You wanna, sort that list by the town column, we'll let you do that where they're all collected together and the rest of them are.
Probably
So if you go through the
street
sign filter, it's
Well,
straight up.
Sign
yeah.
maintenance, yep, that would be a good one.
You sort B to Z, not that column. Start or sort. If you wanna expand the selection.
look at that.
So then we have all the stuff collected up. Now, the stuff we haven't selected yet is down obviously by itself.
I should be able to do the sidewalk.
Salting, yeah, sidewalk salting. Thought that was already in there. Must have bounced out.
emergency water shut-off with some OJT,
Possibly,
right?
yeah.
Just turn the curb stop,
Yeah.
Well, you have
Well-
to have the key and you gotta know where it's at.
Right. Exactly. But the fact remains, if you would happen to be,
Incapacitated.
well, in Rapid having dinner or whatever,
What about Tahiti?
or
It happened before.
in Tahiti having dinner and we would have to have this done, I mean, we would have to have it done, whether you were there to do it or not, if we had the equipment.
I've been up to 2 o'clock and shut the water off.
I know you have, and you on Christmas too, and I understand that. But the fact is, I mean, sometimes you are gone, and so sometimes we'll have to have somebody else
That
do
was
it.
kind of the idea when Anthony came on board, was backup.
Right.
And then it got a little past that, didn't it?
Well, do you remember why that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not for no reason.
Enter, I think is. And this is kind of why I'm putting this now. So, all right, yeah, we do need somebody who knows, other than Chuck, who knows where all the curb stops are.
Mm-hmm.
And that means when we have a town employee, here's the camera. Go follow Chuck around to every single curb stop in town and
Absolutely,
take a
yeah.
picture of them.
Well,
Absolutely.
We kind of tried to do the GPS thing. And,
Mhm.
you know,
Right, put the pictures in Silversmith. Oh, look, I can look on that parcel and see a picture of that curb stop, exactly where it is.
having a locating unit of that capacity is about $30,000. Otherwise, they're only within, what they say, 16 inches or something accuracy.
You need to add street sign maintenance,
Vehicle.
vehicle maintenance, good one, thank you. You can also add, in my opinion, assessing the streets. There's no reason anybody else has to do that. If we've got a town employee, he can drive around and say, oh, we have a pothole on, in front of 221 Third Street, or whatever it is, you know?
Well, the best way to handle that is just pick what area you want, do a work order on it. You have the equipment at your disposal and you also have the material.
Mm-hmm.
So why get anybody else involved?
You mean an employee? We're,
Possible, but you're looking at somebody that could be 18 and you could be looking at somebody that's 85 too. Depends on how much they can do.
Well, it depends on who we would hire if we go this
I
route.
can guarantee you that, if they go out there and work their ass off, they're gonna get paid more than.
Okay, so Chuck, if I hire a guy that's gonna do all these things for me, but I need you to train him and you to, tell him what to do, assist, whatever. But I'm paying him and I'm paying his insurance and his medical. So what do I have to pay you to do that?
Well, then you got, the use of cell phones and fuel and insurance and that's gonna be involved in a town employee.
I don't care about that. I'm taking care of all that crap. I wanna know what it's gonna cost to get you to help me take care of him.
There's an hourly rate in there.
I had actually put together some thoughts on that. I think I put it in as 40 an hour for training.
Okay, well, whatever. Those are things we need to know. So,
It didn't really go into.
are you my new gal?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You missed it. We did a big introduction at the beginning of the work session.
Welcome to South Dakota. Okay.
Vehicle maintenance, that's questionable.
I mean, like oil changes and stuff, probably okay.
Maintenance on the equipment, yes.
Yep.
Greasing things.
Uh-huh.
Just keeping track of when they need to be done. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, maintenance,
Thing is,
vehicle maintenance.
when it was, I sharpened the blades, changed the oil, did the air cleaners and
Mm-hmm.
that was just part of the goddamn deal.
Right.
You're gonna find out what it's gonna cost to get that shit done.
I know.
Or-
24 bucks an hour to our employee, that's what it's gonna cost.
There you go.
There you go. That's what it's gonna
So
cost. That's
what
the conversation we're
equipment is
having.
the town going to use?
Pardon
That
me?
he's gonna be maintaining.
What equipment?
Yeah.
All the equipment that we own, which isn't much right now, but it'd be the vac and the lawnmower and I don't know.
Cop
Cop
that-
cars.
Yeah.
We've got 2 buildings that he can keep track of and
Generators.
generators,
Doorknobs, locks.
doorknobs, locks, yep.
We probably have
I mean,
to
there's-
do some
there's
more research on
A
that.
lot of stuff.
Just anybody can work on the cop cars. That may be the thing.
Well, yeah,
And
to a
back
point.
truck likewise, what happened, we're
Right.
certifying as far as the meter pits. It's in our ordinance that only a certified water or public works man can enter them. And there's gonna be a lot of preparation that needs to be adjusted to for that.
Yeah. March.
I guess that was more talking about somebody to keep records when the oil needs to be changed, when the tires need to be rotated. Take them somewhere to do it. I don't think any really reasonable person was gonna think we we're gonna send a new employee down and rebuild the back truck.
Right, well, yeah, I mean, so vehicle maintenance scheduling with maybe some light maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the understanding.
Is Anthony with us?
Yeah, there he is.
Hey, Anthony.
He's just listening,
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know he was with us, so.
Well,
got his ears on.
and just for your information, we're hopefully gonna talk about the Sun Grant MOU, so at the end of, the water rate structures and sewer rate structures. So it's another thing that came up.
Okay.
So anyway, sorry.
Have you been with us the whole time I've been here, Anthony? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Thanks, Phil.
I guess I need to know, I wanna know how everybody else feels. I think it would be a great idea to have a town employee at whatever, 24 bucks an hour, if that's what you think is gonna take to keep this person, but I think that's a great idea myself.
I love it. I think it's the least,
How many
the
hours
least
a week?
political path forward.
Mhm,
I think it alleviates a lot of
mhm.
politicking and simplifies. That's another side of it though. We would want to protect them from the you've got 5 bosses scenario.
Well, they do have 5 bosses.
We'd have to figure out a way to channel that so that they don't quite have 5 bosses, because it's a lot of stress.
Well, how would you do that without changing the structure of the town government here?
No, you need to like channel it. Like we would have to almost create a job description and all that, kind of like Terry has a job description, the administrative assistant has a job description.
Well, I think part of this is what we just put in, and all the X's are job description,
Yeah.
you know?
So it's beginning, Mark, did you have a?
There's one other benefit to having a town employee, and I'll bring it up again. Yes, it was a rare event, but the storm.
Mhm.
Work orders, entering work orders into the computer. There's broken things around town. That's not somebody's got to have that responsibility in town. And somebody has to be able to be there, follow through to make sure they're getting fixed and they're getting fixed right. Whether we use contractors or not, which we probably will, we're a small town. But Terry can't do all that.
Well, like I said before, there's a big difference between having assistance and taking over. It's 2 completely different things. It was designed to have backup. There's not a damn thing wrong with the contract you already have.
We're not talking
Covers
about
everything.
We're not talking about the contract.
One price.
We're just talking about public works employee
You know,
as
that's
a.
where it comes into play, is who's gonna pay.
Will be the town paying them, yeah. So then emergency water shut off. That's gonna be an operator, right?
Well, no, like I said, if Chuck was out of town and we have to have something shut off, you have emergencies where things have to be done.
That's just turning the curb stop off.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking.
once we have our locations documented, right, I mean, I feel like even if you or I, if we were in a situation where we had to go turn off a bunch of curb stops and like
Mhm.
get to it like yesterday, we could.
Right, exactly. You do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so we have this employee. What's he gonna drive? What equipment is he gonna use?
I still haven't gotten down there to check the police truck and see if I can really let it back into her, but
Yeah.
I've been thinking about a 1-year lease to the town for my truck for $1.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't, that's all it's useful to me for is driving gravel
What it's
around.
gonna be, it doesn't matter how much you pay him if you don't know what you do.
That's why we train them. That's how we solve it.
All right.
I think hiring somebody is not just for today, it's the future. I mean, you look 4 years down the road,
Mhm.
this idea of contract and everything else probably isn't gonna work.
It's gonna be very expensive. To say the least.
Mhm.
Might appear to be cheaper, but trust me, in the long run, it won't be.
There's also curb stops in town that are damaged that you can't get a shut off to. I've ran into 2 of them. That we need probably work orders and will probably have to be dug into it.
Mhm.
There's lots of little things,
They get hit all the time.
you know?
Damn. Sure.
And you're gonna find out, it sounds all glorious right now, but I deal with 20+ employees. How long is he gonna stick around? How long is he gonna get tired of it? And how many people are you gonna be training? That's
Depends how you
where
treat
the
'em.
contracted side of it comes in, where that contractor is on the line for doing the work, being responsible and working through the whole circumstance. You're gonna have it all warm and fuzzy within your hearts right now, but trust me, I can tell you the ins and outs of the workforce over the last 50 years.
All right. So do we need to do anything else on public works employee that you guys can think of right now? I mean, we fleshed this list out a little more, kind of identified things that most likely would fit under the public works employee umbrella. Um, I guess the thing to do going forward is to think if there's anything else on there to do.
I think you better put in there the street maintenance is, I don't know about that, but I mean, if we are gonna hire someone, they've got to be able to lift 50 pounds and do some manual labor, so.
Okay.
Yeah, everything, yeah, this is definitely something that can, for the most part, well, an employee could do anything that's been done thus far as our street maintenance. I mean, they're not gonna bring in a road grader
Right,
themselves, but they could do anything that's been done to date.
they could fill in potholes and, yep.
Borrow truck's excavator and go do this and that's with the Bobcat, yeah.
That's what I said, would you do a work order on what you want done? You know, you've got the material and you got the equipment at your disposal.
Dan?
And that's a situation, if you're gonna pay him $24 an hour, by the time you double what you're gonna do with your withholding and everything else, and if you're gonna offer him any kind of benefits at all to keep him around, you're gonna be up to that $70-80 an hour.
Oh, no, you're
Right now.
not.
Right.
Oh,
You
my.
double what you do
Not
on your employees.
No, it's 38%.
Correct. So you can figure it out at $24, you're gonna be up there at $45 to $50, plus you're gonna do insurance, vacation, benefits to keep
So
you.
you have to. I mean, if we're hiring,
$70-80 an hour.
if we're hiring somebody, they gotta get all the benefits, and that's the benefit of being a town employee. Don't know if we'll be able to find them or not, but we won't know unless we put it out there and see.
Good.
I am still, and Dan and I have argued about this for all the years that I have been on the board. Trust me. And he has always wanted contract employees, and I've always wanted a in-house employee.
Because I know how fast we can get through it.
Right, so.
Well, so,
What would I say?
right, well, so right now, where we're talking about public works employee. We're just kind of hashing this
That's what
part
we're
of
talking about.
it. Right. I
I'm
know
gonna
the
find
work session.
somebody for less than 24 hours an hour and they're gonna be work brittle and will keep the job or walk away.
But that, these are all questions that will eventually be answered in one way or another, right? I mean, this is the point of a work session, is to kind of hash stuff out and to, you know, kind of do some theories and some scenarios and kind of see, you know, what do we think will work, you know, that, all that type of stuff. So anyway, so, are you guys feeling okay about this one? Should we spend another 5 minutes on it or move on to?
Move on.
Violation, traffic violation fee schedule, or sorry, the report on the inventory?
This list is always here, if anybody wants to add anything.
Yep.
It's on the desktop.
All right. Did you save that?
Yeah. It's. Yeah. I'll save it again, it says save, but I'll do it again.
Yeah. There you go. Probably saved.
Extra save.
Probably,
It's extra save.
yeah. All right, now we're on to item B. Report on the inventory of town property in Ferguson Construction Shop. I think this will be pretty short, but we'll see.
Oh, yeah, I got a report.
Okay.
There's
there's a
some,
report.
there's some broken pumps that he's been tripping over,
Right,
because we need to keep track of the serial numbers because they were
yeah.
manufacturer failures. So we should probably throw them away if we don't need them anymore, so he doesn't have to trip over them anymore. But it's up to him if he doesn't mind tripping over them.
Well, I think at the least we should put him in the shop. So we'll only trip over him a couple times a year instead of him every day. But, you know, I do have another booster pump to add to the collection, so
Oh, we can
yeah, we got that
build a
one out.
pyramid or something.
I don't know. So that was that's the report then, right there. Pretty short and sweet.
Yeah, and he needs somebody to help him clean up the cans and stuff, the spray can. I think I got somebody who can help him out, but we'll see.
Okay.
But, you know, we
Is
ain't.
that part of the inventory too?
No, that's all his. It's down to one.
All right, Linda.
No ownership.
I just wanna say that I don't care what it is, but if the town owns it, it needs to be moved to either this shop or the lower shop. I don't, and so I guess I'm asking, who's going to do that?
I mean, I can grab the old pumps and go put them down in the old pump house if truck doesn't mind. I know we were talking about a truck box anyway. Do two things at once.
Yeah, they're all broken. He only kept them because they're the ones that
Well-
we called.
We might still need those though.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Developing, so
Thank you.
I don't mind just putting them in a dark corner on town property just to get them out of his hair, you
Okay,
know.
so are you volunteering to do that?
I'll volunteer.
Okay,
Aaron doesn't need to do
You
everything.
can take inventory while you're there.
Right, well, I could count all the pumps up, it sounds
I
like.
think there's 2 Ford engines that somebody needs to put back together someday.
Okay,
to what?
Ford engines,
Ford as in,
the car, like two truck engines.
that the town owns?
No.
Oh,
Navigate around them to get to the other side.
okay, I don't care.
the discussion to the town
Yeah,
property.
town
So
property.
I think the
So, can I
only
say,
thing is the booster pumps then, is from what I understand.
Yeah.
That's the report, right? Okay, Linda.
okay, it used to be, I don't know if it still is or not, but we had to have for, all the codes and bylaws from the state, we had to list everything, even if it was broken, you couldn't just throw it away. You had to list it and you had to publicize it. So, surplus. So if that needs to be done, then we need to do that.
An inventory.
Yes.
So I can inventory those things, and I guess we could put the Christmas decorations on there too, if we don't have them on a list already, like explicitly, so we'll get that started and then start fleshing it out, fold the chairs and all that other stuff.
County road to store that stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we're done on B, that's good.
Okay, next,
Item C, traffic violation fee schedule.
can that wait? We have an officer that is not going to be, doing that type of work until March. So we can put that one on the next,
I suppose we
We'll
could,
pull it off, so,
thank you.
because I haven't had a chance to really
yeah,
check with some other towns.
yeah, we can do that, and just, I guess, keep in mind what what you would like to see in that regard as we go forwards.
Yep.
Okay, very good. So cross that one off. Item D, resolution, water rate structure, and then we can probably lump D and E together as far as the discussion goes. So do we have those in here? We do,
Yes.
right? Yep, there they are. So the idea here, thanks Donna.
Oh,
I know.
I guess.
So the idea here is, I think the point of discussion for both of them is, so the historical religious water rate, section, or I don't know what you get.
Category.
Yeah, category, there you go, thanks. Somebody's like, "Take that." Yeah, so do we want to, so obviously the examples here are, there, we make them the same as residential, or we make them 10% less than residential. And these are just examples. It's not that we have to do either one of these, but these are kind of just to get the creative juices flowing, I think. And then the same for sewer as well. Do we want to make the historical religious the same as residential, or 10% less than residential, or do we want to do something completely different? I know, so they were complaining about the fact that they used very little water and they were paying like $140 a month, but that was water, sewer, garbage. And so, do we want to, like the 0 to 3,000, do we want to make it very small? And then once, if they end up going over 3,000, then it jumps up to residential and continues on to residential after that? Because presumably they wouldn't be using 3,000.
Oh, so like set that first to like a trivial use, kind of.
Just as an idea, yeah. Linda?
I still would like to do a 0 to 100 gallons and then a 100 to 3,000 gallons.
Okay, so what is the rates that you'd like to see for those two categories?
The amount, well, we have to put in all of the surcharges. They have to be on everybody's water bill.
These charges don't include, those surcharges are above the.
Yes, I understand that. I'm looking at my total water bill here. Thank you. So I would knock the 0 to 100 down to,
It should be a minimum of 3,000, shouldn't they? 0 to 1,000.
well,
There's lots of people who only use 700-800 gallons a month. I don't know if they're showering in the creek or what they're doing, but.
I'm not worried about those ones so much as,
This is specifically about historical / religious category.
Oh, yeah, churches.
Yeah. So 0 to 100, I mean, churches would presumably use more than 100 gallons a month, just if they had a decent amount of people going there, even once a week.
4 Sundays.
Yeah.
can you pull up a couple? I'm sorry, I should have. Yeah, thank you.
4 Sundays in a month, depending on the.
You're talking about,
I mean, it had,
across the board or just for the historic religious, the 0 to 100 categories?
I think it
it would
needs,
have to be across the board.
it has to be, I want it across the board, yeah.
That's something we need to be careful with though, right? Because our current, the surcharges and everything, wasn't all that factored in?
Surcharges.
Surcharges are,
Per user.
that don't matter.
Per user, it doesn't
So
matter
we're
how
on the
much.
factor.
No, it's just the per user flat rate, what the surcharge is. Mark, did you have a comment or a question while she's looking at that?
Can't the town do it on an individual basis? I mean, if you do something and you make it public, pretty soon.
Yeah, and if you do it on
You
a,
can say it's discrimination if you don't let them do it.
Well, it was
Same as
suggested
you.
that we do it as on a per individual basis, but we do it in the form of like rebates or something like that from the town board. But I think the idea with going the historical / religious is to, be able to help out more than just one organization at a time. I think without having to do
Oh, sorry.
a new thing every year or every period of time after it lapses.
All right, I'm just thinking about that weird person that decides they're gonna open a Wiccan church and come to the town and say, we want religious exemption.
Yeah, it's part of the, I guess it was a it was a resolution we passed to modify this. Part of that.
Well, we haven't had, it will be a
It
resolution.
will,
Right, but so the pending resolution addresses those types of, issues in its current state.
Yeah, so I had one with like 600 and some, this is 700 gallons for churches.
okay.
Well,
How about, what about individuals? Um, don't we have in there how many?
Well, if I ran a consumption report, it would show me,
how much does a ha-ha use a month?
well, theirs is turned off, but before they were using not even 10 gallons a month.
Oh, that's another point, that their water is turned off. The owners or occupants connected with the Hermosa municipal water system shall pay for water consumed as listed in the rate schedule below, 0 to 3,000. That is a thing that's come up before. Was it 22, 23? That it doesn't matter whether your water's on or off. You pay the base rate. And as the last time I saw, motions
As long as I've been here, we haven't been.
haven't done it right, but last I recall, the last motion to be made on the topic was to reinforce that, and it still hasn't happened.
And I think that would be easier to do if we would have whatever, 0 to 500
Yeah, something.
and then 500 to 3,000 or 0 to, we gotta come up with a number somewhere.
0 to 1,000.
1,000 is too much, I think. I do, I think it's too much.
What do the churches use it?
Well, one had 650 and one had 720. I just looked.
I mean, 1,000 would fit the current consumption of
1,000
people that
gallons
would
is a
likely
nice
fit our
starter number.
religious category. But regardless of whatever that number is, we still have to decide, well, what is gonna be the base rate
For that.
for that one?
Part of it is that they were paying commercial, not just,
Right.
they were churches as well.
Yeah.
Churches,
Mhm.
historical. So, I mean, jumping it down to residential, I think is the safest thing we could do. It helps them out while also not necessarily encouraging somebody to, as Mark said, kind of throw up a church and be like, I'm religious, like they,
Mhm.
if you just set it to residential, that doesn't incentivize anybody doing weirdness in order to be categorized that way. Where if you go lower than residential, then you open yourselves up, we could open ourselves up to people looking for opportunities.
Gonna go and pee on the curb and then should we use water?
Right, the whole point of,
Porta potties?
excuse me, the whole point of doing this was to try and accommodate haha. That was the whole point of this.
Mhm.
And if we apply solely residential, the amount of relief they're getting is very little compared to what they were paying. I mean, they're maybe saving what, like, I don't know what it would be. I'm just guessing like maybe 20%. And I think as far as what their purposes will be, that's still going to be too high for them. You know, I wish they were here. They can kind of answer some of these specifics, but
So if you wanna add just then a historical and religious, make theirs from 0 to 1,000. And
At what rate?
at what rate? Let's see. How about,
can we do that? Just make theirs 0 to 1,000 on their base, and then it would be 1,000 plus.
will the computers do that? You don't
I
know.
don't know.
I mean, legally, can
Yeah,
we do
it
that?
That's,
doesn't seem like it's,
So,
we haven't done that in the past.
seems weird.
I mean,
I like it, but it seems weird.
yeah, well, again,
Just
though,
throwing shit out there.
Actually, it'll stick.
Sorry. Yeah.
it's kind of a moot point unless we decide on what we think the rate should be.
I think it should be a little lower. I think that's fair. I think it's nice. I think it's, whatever. And like I said, they don't normally use that much water, 750, 650 is what you see there. And we all know that the museum was 10, 20 gallons. I mean, the few times they flushed the toilets. So that, ever gets used for. So But I don't want to, I wanted to lower the amount. The one thing that we need to make clear is that they are not allowed to sell water. So in other words, their board presidents and vice presidents and members can't come and fill up their water tanks for their out of town homes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, so that's why you want to set the threshold to be lower. And then at the time that we jump
Yeah.
over the lowest threshold, then it just becomes the residential then. But is that what you're getting at?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And that's what I've said, all, if you're gonna do the 0 to 1,000, then for us commercial users, can we come in and ask, since we're under that 1,000, and ask for forgiveness then too? And so you're gonna set up a precedence here that's gonna allow the rest of us to come in and say, you know, over at the Honey House, I only use 300 gallons. I would like to get under that 0 to 1,000 and go to a different preference instead of paying what I'm paying for in-town commercial.
I understand that.
Where when you're doing the in-town residential versus the in-town commercial, they're saving $20 a month. To me, that's quite substantial. And then if your sewer side of it also is reflected on that situation, then you're saving them on that side of it also.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saving them a huge amount over the top right there. But if you start setting special scales, then everybody's gonna be able to come in and ask, hey, I want to be on that sliding scale too. I only used 200 gallons last month, or 100, or sometimes in the summer, we don't even use 10.
Yeah, so if they're.
Is open to the public for historical, cultural, educational, or religious purposes on a periodic or regular basis. I like the way Scott worded this, honestly. He got it pretty much. Then. That's applied to, you know, is owned or operated by a nonprofit organization whose primary purposes. So the property has to be owned or operated by a nonprofit. It can't be somebody owns it and happens to have a nonprofit operating there. I like that.
Right, and we should probably add cannot be a primary residence on here too.
Yes.
That if we go lower than residential, I do think we have to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it wouldn't matter.
Right.
Yeah, we feel that. Okay, so then, I mean, we're obviously just thinking about this tonight. We're not going to make any decisions because we can't, but were you all thinking as far as what we want to do? So right now they're an in-town commercial, or they were, I guess they still are, because we cannot not charge them a water bill or a sewer bill, right? What you were getting at with Bill.
Well, we haven't been though.
It's gone back and forth as to the idea, if somebody turns their water off, do they still pay? And according to our resolutions, they're supposed to, but that's never been, as far as I know, at least not recently.
Well, they need to be paying the surcharges at the minimum.
They're still hooked up.
Are they even paying the surcharges?
No.
So if they call, oh, turn my water off, they don't pay anything?
That's the way I understand it.
They have to be paying the surcharges. You understand that
I know they're supposed to be, but I don't think they are, is what I'm telling you.
they have to be.
I think they are though.
Yeah, I don't.
That's what I'm telling you.
They haven't been.
Okay, well,
We have to change that.
starting tomorrow, they are gonna be getting the surcharge bill because that is a big no-no.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. So that's why I think we need to add 0 to 100 gallons for those people that are not on. And then they'll get charged. Then the billing will automatically take over.
So that's one way to take care of that.
Mm-hmm. That's the easy way to take care of that, in my opinion.
So I think we have to charge surcharges to everybody. So we need to make sure that those are all going out.
Well, that's how we do it right now.
Oh, okay.
That's how I buy it.
Oh, so even people who have their water turned off, they still get the.
Oh, no,
surcharge?
not that, no.
Yeah. they
Well, that's
get
the every-
surcharges too. Our loans with
Require.
Colliers require everybody to
Mhm.
be paying that surcharge. Yeah, so we need to make sure we're staying on top of that, but.
Okay, so then, that's gonna bring up a whole nother set of questions, but we have to add, then, I still think we need to add the 0 to 100 gallons, or 0 to 50 gallons, or whatever it is.
She's just afraid that people will, I don't know, well,
I think if we
when you
put,
have your water turned off and it's 0 to 1,000, I mean, they can't sell
There's a
it
lot of,
anyways.
there's a lot of water. I mean, 1,000 gallons is still a lot of water. I wouldn't go that high. I just wouldn't.
Okay, well, we can just add, I mean, so yeah, so it starts at 0. So we
Mhm.
I use
0 to something.
29.50.
That's how much you use?
You use quite a bit of water.
I do.
So do I, see. I mean, I would never, I'm almost,
I obsessively wash my
We
hands.
only use 10, 1,030.
Well,
I know.
but the point is that then we can have an automatic category for them being turned off, and then it's still, the surcharges are being automatically cut,
Mhm.
even if they're turned off. And then they can have, I guess, a smaller base rate or whatever is what you're thinking too, right?
Mhm. Yep.
Okay, that's an interesting idea.
I just think that's the easiest for the computer system, for the office staff, for everybody. The only question that it brings up then is, okay, so like right now, haha is off. Dan's honey house is on. But what about Mills's house that nobody's been in since I have lived in this town since '88? Nobody has ever lived in that home. It still sits there.
If it's connected, they need.
It's still, it has, there's a water meter outside of it. It's still connected, yeah.
Then it needs to be
Brought
billed.
up before.
This has been brought up
Take
before.
down and cap the line.
Right.
They don't want any sort of.
And then pay them to cap it, and then pay them to uncap it if
They
they
can
want to.
physically be used if it's capped.
Right, but then if they want to
Curb
reconnect.
stop off, don't catch it, they can turn the curb stop back on. But
Mhm.
if they're dig down and cap it, even though,
Yeah, and remove the
and
meter.
the thing
too.
is, that tremendous amount of our revenue comes from water and sewer.
Right,
Right.
90% of it.
yeah, well,
Mhm.
We're trying to satisfy
That's closer to 40%.
well, we gotta maintain our water user base.
you back.
So, Terry, we're gonna need you to run a consumption report. 0 to 100 gallons, 100 to 3,000 gallons, or maybe we
I
have to
think
go
0
to
to 100,
1,000.
100 to 1,000. How's that sound, everybody? 0 to 100, 100 to 1,000.
I mean, the idea is just to have
Just to know.
something that's so small. The idea with the 100 is to have something that's so small that
It doesn't fit for a normal home.
well,
Right.
nobody's gonna use less than 100 unless they're just really doing nothing there. Right. And then if they do use more than 100, then they just go back to their normal stuff. But if the water's so-called turned off, they're being caught with that 0 to 100.
Yeah.
And then, like I said before, it'll automatically catch all the surcharges and stuff on the bill. And we can have a lower rate, but we cannot touch surcharges. That's one thing we can't touch. So, yeah.
Is that gonna apply to commercial then too?
I would,
Because
I would think that if we're going to do it, we can't just do it for one category. That, in my mind, that we would have to do it for all the categories.
correct.
I mean, we have the question of the software, but we also have the question of fairness too. But at the end of the day, everybody is going to have to be charged the surcharge if they are connected to the town and they have a meter.
And the base rate of whatever the 0 to.
Right, and
X
the base
is.
rate. Yeah, But if the base rate is 0, then it's gonna be at the minimum a surcharge, and if the base rate is higher than that, then obviously, like you're saying, it's the base rate plus a surcharge.
This is going to, part Dan's concern is, his honey house will be lowered. We'll be getting less revenue from his honey house. And, I mean, that's good for him, but it takes away from the town. But his is not the only one. The other one that probably will be less per month is the propane. I mean, the only thing he does in there is flush the toilet and wash his hands once in a while. Sometimes, it's usually about 100 gallons a month.
Yeah.
But it's,
One up behind the store.
but it's still, in my mind, fair. I mean, they're paying for basically 3,000 gallons and not even coming close to using it. And as a matter of fact, I can use my sister as kind of an example in this. When she had that water leak here a month ago or whenever that was, and we caught it like right away, because we were in the house when we heard it go. And but still, she used, I don't know, 20, I don't know how many it was, but she wanted to come in and have her bill lowered because it didn't go down the sewer. Well, it didn't go down the sewer, but at the same time, it was so minimal that it wasn't worth even coming up to the office,
Yeah.
So that brings up a question, that Deb Anderson, does she get any kind of a bill?
Mm-mm. But she would now if we change
Well,
this.
what is she doing?
Well, wouldn't we all like to know?
I mean, I can't believe you can live in a house for over a year and not use any water.
Well, it's illegal, first off. But I mean, we don't know. I mean, we're not in that house, so how do we know? I mean, is she
Yeah, I mean,
carrying buckets in? I don't know.
Well, I think it's probably not a good idea to discuss the personal business of townspeople at these meetings, so.
Oh, yeah,
Let's
sorry.
let's just kind of move on from that, but, as far as the rate goes, if we did do a 0 to 100 or whatever that number is gonna be, right?
Mhm.
What is the base rate you wanna see? $10 a month, 15, 20, 5?
Well, right now it's at 41.
Right.
And so if we,
That's with the water and the surcharges?
no, that's
Oh.
just the water, yeah.
Surcharges are automatic.
I think we should wait for Terry to clear her reports before we talk any numbers, right? I think we could.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. See how many are actually in that category.
Before we might
Yeah.
open up a.
So
can
if
of
you
worms,
have
but I
one
don't-
that's 0 to 100, how about to 250? How about to 500? And how about to 1,000? We want to know all those categories. And then we'll want to know, it should do it anyway, but whether they're residential or commercial, or out of town, or commercial out of town, whatever, in all the categories. And then because we cannot change it very much because of all the loans and
We can adjust the rates. We can't
Just
touch,
not-
we can't touch the
the
surcharge.
surcharges,
You're
correct?
not allowed to change them.
Right, exactly.
You can adjust the rate, so we need to be very careful and keep those completely separate.
Yes.
In our minds and the bookkeeping and everything and all that. So Dan, did you have a?
Yeah, and I think too, on your empty lot circumstance, you need to think hard about that, because there's many of these have never been touched for 30 years or longer. And you're gonna start charging on them, and how are you going to go out and handle them yourself then? If you're going to require that they be tapped, then the town needs to be responsible to do that. Portion of it also on them empty lots.
Or do they have meters?
Some do, some don't.
If they're connected, if they're an empty lot,
They have a meter.
But meter pits, some of them are still in the pits that have been there and haven't functionally been used, or,
Do they get red?
No,
you know,
They don't get
they're
red.
not on.
they're cut off.
Okay. Well,
I mean, at one time, we had like 25 of those in
well,
this town. I don't know how many there are now.
Empty lots
Uh-huh.
with water meters on them,
Maybe not with water meters, but.
or at least
Empty.
water connected.
Mhm. Mhm.
the thing about it is if our water users report that we submitted to Colliers includes people that have their water shut off but are not paying a surcharge, they need to be paying the surcharge. You know, like
Mhm.
that's kind of the main thing we need to be keeping on top of, I think. As far as
Mhm.
charging for empty lots and stuff like that, to me, that's a separate issue unless they were already listed as water users when we were doing those reports.
Yep.
You know, you guys aren't following what I'm saying?
No, I know.
Yeah, so.
Do you have
I totally understand.
I mean, I'm not sure, I'm pretty sure we don't use the active users, so the people that actually had a bill. So we use when we did the.
Mhm.
What about those that are seasonal? Some of them turn on for the summer and all.
Depends on when we did it, if they were on
And
at the
then
time.
turn around and turn on for a little while,
Well,
they're gonna be there.
If they were on at the time we did the report, it probably, they were counting, if not, they probably weren't. So
So
saying,
is there a way that you can, is there a report that you can run that kind of has it in a list in a page or two or something like that? That will give us an outline of that situation of how many people
average
we,
use or something.
well, how many, so she's talking about the usage. I'm
Mhm.
basically talking about who's in a house but not getting the bill, or even a seasonal house or anything like that. Just,
We had a listing at one time. I don't know if it's still in there or not.
yeah, so that's, if you don't mind, I'd like to see that and see what we can get, and then see if there's,
Yeah.
if that captures what we need to see, and if not, then we'll go from there, I suppose.
And so just as a, for an example, you know, we used to have 2 water meters up here at Terry's. And now that is sold and now there's 5 lots and they're all off. So, I mean, we do have to consider that.
Yeah,
But we've had to consider that before. We have been down this road years ago and it got decided not to charge those people. But these are things, it's our responsibility as a town board to get this figured out and to do it right.
the point is, right now, we have loans that were given to us that were contingent upon we have X number of users. And if that number of users changes,
Yes.
then that affects our loan and affects our ability to pay it back. So we
Absolutely.
need to make sure that whatever that number is stays constant so that we can make sure that we're paying it back.
Yep.
And that we're not
Well, it should be growing
in the default.
with a few houses here and there get built and people move in, and so it should be growing, but we'll see.
Well, and that's the thing, we just need to get a real clear picture of it, and hopefully we're fine. We're probably fine, but it would be good to just get that kind of in black and white, and then we can
Yep.
know that we're okay and move on from it, I suppose.
Can you do a list also of everything that's turned off? All the properties that
Well,
are connected but
I don't
turned
know,
off?
because they're marked inactive, so then anybody that, like, once they move out and somebody else moves in, there's gonna be inactive, so how you gonna know?
So you can't really distinguish.
Not in the computer, you know.
None of the computer.
So that would be a thing for Silversmith that we add to that. We could keep track of it there.
I mean, if there are that many lots that are connected to town water, they could be occupied, whether they have a structure on them or not, but they're not, that's landlocked. We need to break that up.
Okay.
How many lots could possibly be out there that
Okay, so,
sitting?
and then another example is your lot. Does that have water going to it?
Yeah, it has water.
Yeah,
There's no
so,
meter, but it has water.
so that's one too.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if you guys, if I need to pay it, I will, but
mhm.
there's no water being used, you know.
I know
And no
that.
meter, so.
I know that too.
So
But these are the things that we need to,
Curb stop,
to
that's the
figure.
end of the line, so it's been tapped. The water and sewer have both been tapped, but there's a curb stop on the water, but there's no meter and there's nothing running to it right now. Eventually, hopefully there will be, but, you know.
But I mean, it's, like I said, and at one time, that question even included all the, what was there, 12 or so lots down there on Josie and behind you guys' house, remember? That was an issue too, because they were not ever supposed to be built on, and yet here they got water running to them, or, so.
Well, I think we need to break this question up
Mhm.
into things that we have to address, which are maintaining the user base number that we had when we got
Got the loans.
documents figured out. Make sure that we're always above that. And then, I mean, it's far, that's a whole nother, probably a whole nother work session. I know that when I first got on the board, that was kind of a topic that went
Mhm.
around too, but, as far as, yeah, I mean, that's just kind of where I'm at. We just need to get ahead of
Mhm.
the loan type stuff. Dan, did you have a final?
Yeah, and I think if you address it like we did before, we left the empty lots alone because there was no usage. Because then you're talking Hunsacker, you're talking down there on Josie, you're talking like your lot, you're talking lots all over the community. But if it has a structure, let's, if you're gonna come to us and say you're going to pay what our surcharge is at a minimum monthly, even though your water is shut off, you're going to have a lot better response with the buildings and structures out there. 'Cause not to say it, my fire hall building is shut off. So we're not paying anything on it, and it's a commercial building. So it's a situation on that. If I was approached and said, we do need to charge you at minimum a surcharge, we're gonna be more acceptable to that because there's not a gallon that goes out of that building and hasn't for 10 years.
Right.
We don't use the water.
So you're advocating for a rate of 0 with only a surcharge for those?
If you're going to do that in a circumstance with positioning that they're off. As far as vacant lots, that's another whole can of worms that we beat to death as far as who's gonna be responsible then to crawl down in pits and disarm them, close them off and be done with it.
Okay. Well, are you guys okay with moving on to the next one then? Think Anthony, can be civil week?
Is there next one?
Yeah,
No, there's more.
just this, Sun Grant MOU. Anthony, if you just like to introduce it, I just wanted to put it on people's radar so they're aware of what you're proposing here and the reasoning behind it and everything.
Right, can everyone hear me?
It's just all the way up. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you. You're gonna have to speak loud though.
Okay, so I'll try to speak loud. The purpose of this grant is, we've been trying to work, with the state on the biosolids that were deposited on the east side of the lagoon during the lagoon construction. Um, we've done sampling, of the soils, and so the parameters from the EPA, all the levels in those biosolids are lower than the EPA parameters. So it's really just a matter of a, conditioning of that biosolids so that we can monitor those levels, and we have a 2-year window of time to do that. And so, simultaneously with us looking at, waiting for samples to come back from the lab, results from the lab, the School of Mines has a project through South Dakota State University, where they're conducting research in phytoremediation, which means that you grow plants on land that has biosolids on it, and the plants uptake the nutrients, and then that plant is harvested and used for biofuels. So it's a biofuel precursor grant, and it's a small one. Mainly helps the university a lot through their summer salary program. But it would help the town out because it would be able to walk us through any sampling of that as that as the plants uptake any nutrients or metals, they're naturally occurring in wastewater. So I talked to Greg Diggebauer, and I kind of gave him a synopsis of what we were thinking. And actually, he was saying that that whole field to the north was pretty much not productive as a hay field anymore, anyways. And so, if he was gonna do sunflowers, which is the crop that we're looking at using, he planted that whole field just so that he's makes it worthwhile for the combine to be switched over for soybeans or sunflowers and all that. Which is fine, but we'd be focused on just the 1 acre that's on the east side of the lagoons, so that we can do what we're supposed to do in reporting to the state on the chain of custody of that. The grant submittal deadline is January 7th. That's why I'm bringing it to the work session, because I'd like to be able to share this with the Negabars, just so that they can see what we see. And also, I think the town attorney's gotten a copy of it, so that he's able to check it out. The commitment, and I don't know if everybody a copy of that, or should I share my screen?
Yeah, I think all the board members have a copy.
Okay. So the commitment that we're making towards the match of the grant, which is like the match is the total grant's like 60 grand. Match is 20%. The town's only going to put up eight grand of that 12 grand in required match. The South Dakota School Mines will put up the remaining 4 grand towards, it's not just money expended, it's labor and materials. So, big thing within that 8 grand is the labor to move around a irrigation gun, stationary gun that can, or some irrigation system. And we could do the traditional flood irrigation too, along the east side of the lagoons, because it sort of stays there in that area anyways. And so that could be our match is the effort to irrigate that for the project, and then the equipment needed to do that. So we can look at it from we have equipment, we can rent it, and that's kind of like kind match. So the real out of pocket will be much less than the 8 grand, but we have to make a commitment amount for the application. So that way the grant program sees that we're making it. And there's no guarantee that we'll get this grant. But what it does do is it does plant the seed with DANR that we're looking at alternatives to digging it up, because the levels aren't really justifying digging it up and spreading it over farm fields, which is what they would normally have to do. So it's already farm field. It's not hurting anybody. The levels are fine. It really just needs to be monitored through a 2-year period, and so that's why we're looking at some out of the box solutions to that remaining thing.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Anthony on this? Here.
What portion of the sunflower seeds do we get to keep?
Well, considering their phytoremediation crops, I mean, you may just be able to keep as many as you want, but suffer the consequences if you guessed on. But Anthony, did you hear
So
him?
the plan, the 1 acre that we're studying, the plan is to harvest harvest the sunflower seeds, then bale up the stalk leaves. The samples, the two, we're going to take those samples and send them to Colorado, where the National Renewable Energy Lab will test and see where those nutrients end up. So then we'll know, okay, there's this much in the seed, there's this much in the stalk and leaves. And I mean, my plan was, and I'm sure the native bars wouldn't care about 1 acre of it. My plan was just to let the native bars have it for their cattle. But there's some need for it with the town. Zinc, copper. These are naturally occurring metals in the ground and in the water. So all we're doing is feeding those nutrients to plants.
So there would be nothing wrong with the plants then?
No, there's nothing wrong with the plants
No.
or any differently than the plants that get irrigated from lagoon water.
So, I mean,
Right?
Bake them, salt them. I mean,
would we be able to use those in any capacity as the town? I think that's what Aaron is asking. Have a sunflower seed cook-off.
I mean, we got the ball field right there, you know.
Could use BBB funds for that.
I mean, yeah, if we deem it safe, whatever part of the plant, that they're too high a nutrient level, then yeah. I mean, the big thing is, you know, you are irrigating with wastewater, right? It's effluent. So, there's, you know, we have the whole thing about PFAS, right? So, we're trying to look at the life cycle of those constituents in wastewater as they go through plant. Trying to harness nature, so I don't know if with human consumption needs to be the highest level. Well, I can see it being used for animal feed maybe, but I'd probably steer clear of eating it.
All right. Okay. Interesting. Does anyone else have any questions for Anthony? I don't see any other questions here. So, but thanks for looking into this. And,
So,
yeah,
this will go on, I mean, this document will need to go through some kind of review, and then so happens that the application deadline is I think the date of our next meeting, right?
okay.
We kind of have to post it up so that if there was any concerns or anything that needs to be done to the document, that we got it. We don't, we can get it to the School of Mines team on time.
Okay. I mean, are you guys interested at all in this, or is this something we should put on the agenda for the next meeting and consider there?
If we wait until the next meeting, Anthony, we're okay?
That's the.
That's the deadline, so we're good to go?
Yeah, I mean, you could ratify whatever you've already kind of digested. That would be fine. I'd have it ready to go, and I wouldn't let the research team, you know, submit it until everything's good.
Okay. Well, I guess.
You'll get the grant, and it doesn't cost the town anything, so, really, if only if you get the grant.
Will this come out of our sewer fund or?
I think it probably should be something that's related to our.
Yeah. Right.
Well, like I said, we're evaluating, you know, when we talked about lagoon and running the lagoon, when somebody's at the lagoon and they just move the irrigation unit, you know, they can clock that hour towards the grant instead of towards operations, and that's our like kind of match. So it really doesn't count. There's a lot you can do like that that doesn't cost the town anything. That's all built into that grant.
Okay.
So we just need to put it on for approval at the next meeting then?
Yeah, that would be great.
Mhm.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, thanks for that, Anthony. If you guys have any questions, you just reach out to him, and I'm sure he'll be happy to answer them, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. Well, I don't see any other hands up, and we've been here a couple hours already, so I think we're probably gonna call this work session. You guys have any items from constituents? I see two constituents out there. Dan, was that your hand up?
Yes,
All right.
I just want to cover one more time on the contractor side of it. Normally, it's the responsibility of the contractor to bring it to the town on what the proposal is. Just as, you know, I've brought 3, 4 proposals in, and they've never been acted on or dealt with. But I brought them to the town on request, so, you know, and if it's going to be a situation where he's gonna hire an employee instead of a town employee, then he needs to adjust his rates to compensate that. If the engineer is going to put the circumstances together on bid proposal for snow removal, for mowing, for streets, then he'll have the same opportunity and it'll go by the piecemeal. I feel this is really a joke as far as this proposal here and how it's proposed and how it's put together. So I think that will be a big situation that you need to do the homework with the engineer. And then knowing what his job titles are going to be, then come back to the contractor and then what's going to be bid out. And then back to move forward with a good plan.
Okay. Thanks, Anthony. Mark, do you have anything?
No, I should ask them maybe when Anthony's just a question. Is the plant running up there now?
I don't think so. I mean, the pumps are running, but the,
Yeah, the plant's running, it's in recirculation, talked to the lab, today. Can you hear me?
okay. Yeah, we can hear you.
Mhm.
Yep, I talked to the lab today because we took samples to see how the water quality is coming out. And they said that they had a few people out sick, but they should have us results this week so that we can discharge. So, plant's running in recirculation, so it's bringing it in from the detention basin and then returning it to Lagoon C, while we wait for lab results to say we can discharge.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so there you go. All righty, well, very good. Any trustees want to do some input or we just want to call it?
Well, I have only a question, so we basically know what we're waiting for then. Information that Terry and the computer gotta throw together and, some information yet on the contracting information, but do we need another meeting? Our meeting is scheduled the 7th, which is 9 days from now. Just making sure we don't need another meeting to come to before that. If we go through any of this, if Terry thinks she can get to it, or,
Well, if you give me until the 7th.
okay,
No, I don't have
Wouldn't have anything
anything
earlier.
for that.
I'm okay with waiting until the 7th.
Okay. very good.
We'll see. Do you know when those RFPs are gonna be rolling off in for the different contract operations?
So I sent you something by email now, I just wanted to get some clarification in the instructions of how I'm breaking things up. Take a look at that email, how I can go and do it, and then, if everybody's good with those, way of packaging it, then, I could have that stuff, ready for bid, the second week of January.
Okay, all right, thank you.
That's solid. Thank you all have that.
Yeah, I'll forward it to everybody, even Linda.
Thank you.
All righty, thanks, Anthony.
Need to hire an email.
All right, I guess, in lieu of any other trustee input, we'll end this work session. Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, something, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's gonna be.
Myself.
We'll sign.